Order of the Odessa Development Corporation. I want to ask David Boutan to do our invocation.
If you bow your heads and pray with me, please. Dear Lord, thank you for all the blessings you've bestowed upon everyone in this room and everyone else in our community. Please provide us with the guidance to do your will and to do what's in the best interest of our citizens. That we conduct our meeting in a productive and cordial fashion. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay. Say the pledges to the American flag. Y'all join me in the pledge of the American flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Okay, the next item, consider the minutes of August 8th meeting, August 1st, 8th, 20th, and 29th, special meetings. Do them all at once?
I didn't find anything substantive. There are a few. I have some just basically typos on August 8th and August 20th. And if you would indulge, I just would hand these to, I think they're probably 3 or 4 or 5, and I just hand these to Kathy, and with those, like I say, they're just very minor corrections. I would move for approval.
We have a public comment. Mr. Russell.
Thank you, Dr. Kurt, ODC Board. My comment would be to deal with the August 8th minutes. If you'll recall, in that meeting, we went into executive session. Part of what we talked about was the some of the things with the attorney and the opinion letter that he'd given us on a few items and all. As you'll recall at that meeting, I asked for permission as acting board president to deliver a copy of that information to the city attorney's office, which we did do. I'd also dropped a copy of it over to Kathy as board secretary and asked her to include those in the minutes so that we would have record of all that. And I noticed that was not in the minutes, and I would like to ask that memo be included, that information that we got during executive session that we delivered to the city attorney's office also be included as part of our minutes. And I have a copy of that.
Okay, do we have a copy?
I can amend my motion to include that.
Okay.
Do we have a second? Do we need a second yet? Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
And all opposed? Same sign. Okay, contractor reports. Tom Mansky.
Good afternoon. There are so many minutes in here, I had to go way back to find my report. And you will find that after, I guess, the August 29th minutes. Not a lot new right now. We do have a couple of new projects we're working on. One of them, Project Dragon Slayer. It came to us back on 9/3. Another one that's moving right now pretty good. We've had a couple of meetings this week. Project Texas Clean Energy towards the bottom of that first page of the report. That's a Dragon Slayer's a manufacturing facility. They're looking for 40 to 50,000 square feet. We're working with them right now. They also have some other needs, and they're very interested in doing an application. I did provide the group with an application, went out to their facility, toured the facility, met with them. It's a,
What size building?
do what?
Did you say?
I'm sorry.
Size?
40 to 50,000 square feet,
Okay.
which those are a little more difficult to come by. We can find 5 to 10, 5 to 15,000 square feet all day long. 40 to 50 becomes a little more difficult.
Are they gonna, is it gonna be a big manufacturing company, large items, or a lot of people?
All the components combined will make for a large item.
Okay.
It would be unique to Odessa. It's something that's utilized out here, but it's being manufactured in other places.
I see.
And so-
do they need a compartmentalized building or open space? Is there?
What I toured, which they felt was pretty good, but there's some efficiencies they could add to it, was fairly open.
I see. Thank you.
And so
Are they located, they're an existing company? Or
they are an existing company.
Where are they located at this point, just general area? I know we can't say necessarily.
I would say they are in the western portion of Odessa.
Okay.
And so, yeah, they've asked to kind of keep everything not, totally private for other than the fact that they'd like to get things rolling in their favor before anything comes out. But it would be something, I did mention to them, kind of similar to Oryx, that may be the potential to provide a tour at one point for ODC board and compliance members. I felt like before y'all took a look at that project, being able to go out there and see what they do was pretty cool. This one I don't think is as cool a tour, but seeing the finished product I think would be really cool. So that one's going in place. The others right now we're trying to get them moving. Molecule is moving. We have talked about an application. They've not put one in. They are in the midst of getting a 312 agreement. We took them before the County Commissioners Court. That's another ancillary project to 1.5, but it would be a significant project for the area. And that one actually is moving. We usually talk to those folks 2 or 3 times a week if they're not in town already. With that, a couple things I ran out of the office and left on the copier. One was an agenda I wanted to show you for a program we're doing next Thursday. I'll put that in the email after this meeting. It's on an immigration program we're doing next Thursday at Odessa College. And ultimately what the hopes is behind the program is it helps lead to an immigration resource center, which we feel like would help. I think some of that came out of the workforce program we did last January as far as working with immigrants that may not be legal to work here currently that are already here in the area, but providing them a pathway to become legal, get a tax number and everything so that they're contributing to the community and to society and able to work legally and put food on the table and everything else. We're not like recruiting people in, but there's a large number of immigrants that are here already that we could probably use in the workforce if they could work legally. And some of them may be working right now, and we'd keep them from looking over their shoulder if we could provide that pathway to work legal. And so it's a good agenda. It's come together nicely, I think. It'll be next Thursday the 19th at Odessa College in the Salisbury building up on the second floor in the Zhang community room. And unfortunately, when I run off things on the copier, unlike my talented team, I tend to sometimes run out of the office without them. And with that, I also ran out with, I've got your update on jobs and CapEx and everything. And so what I'm going to do, I've got several meetings scheduled with board members in the next few days. I'm going to, between now and tomorrow morning, schedule the rest of the board to meet with y'all one-on-one, or maybe a couple of you at a time. And I'll have that report with me, and I'll go over it, and we can discuss and go over any questions and things. And if there's any information on there that you'd like to see that maybe is not included, we can certainly look at that. And then moving past that, you'll see some of the different meetings we had. We also have the Odessa Economic Indicators. Moving past that, You'll see in some of our information, drilling's down a little bit. I think somebody asked me about that a meeting or two ago, but production is still up. And so they're doing it with less people. I think the most recent Odessa Economic Indicator report that we sent out showed a loss of about 1,400 oil production jobs or oil field jobs. And so we're trying to see how we can make an awareness of other jobs that we have available so people don't leave the area. But certainly the oil production is not dipping even though jobs are. And so past that, you'll see our August marketing, our social media, which we've seen increases in all of our deals, likes and followers and all of that stuff. If you're really into social media, I get on it a little bit, but not a ton. So, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. Moving from that, I can tell you have one. I'm looking at your expression.
Not on that, huh? Did you ever, you were gonna do a ratio chart for our investment to return on businesses that I talked the other day, and I thought maybe you might have them today.
That's part of that report I'm going to get with you individually on the jobs and CapEx and everything.
Yeah.
I ran out of the office without it, and so I'm going to meet with each board member individually, get your question and answer, and go over that. And if I need to bring it back up before the full board, I certainly can too. But here next, I've got 3 board members scheduled to meet with in the next 4 business days, and I plan on by the end of today. Stick around if you haven't heard from me. I'll get you on the schedule, and I'll sit down one-on-one with everybody.
Tom, I think it's important that a formal presentation of that information, that
Okay.
report, be done at our next meeting. That needs to be a public document, so.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
I think doing both is good. I also want to see if it's got everything you want on it before that
Yeah.
next meeting.
Yeah.
I was going to
So-
say the same thing as David, so thank you.
Yeah. Well, it just means more coming from, no, I'm kidding. Yeah, you will have that, and then prior to that, and there may be a different format you'd like to see it in, what have you. I certainly want to get your input on that. We put it together in a certain fashion, and you know, the one thing I did notice on there is the report is just the projects that have actually we've been able to get an application from. And for each one we get an application from, we may work on 3 dozen other projects that we weren't able to get them to turn in an application. And so, you know, maybe we do a better job of documenting everything. We certainly can't go back to 1997 and report everything that you know is not on there. That one, we have a list of these people applied, they were accepted. There's a few down at the bottom that maybe never took their funds. You know, they wound up not turning in their paperwork for compliance or things of that nature, but they might have been approved for funding already and were approved by ODC and the city council. And then you have everything from those to, we've got a couple that maybe got some of the grant paid and didn't come to fruition. And so we all know about that. But they're literally, I don't want you to think that since 1997, our office worked on, I think it's maybe like 82 projects, because I can guarantee for each one of those 82, there's 3 dozen behind it. So,
Did the pediatrics clinic, did they ever come back for their money? That they were a year behind, just a few blocks over? Just 2 blocks over the big white building?
are you talking about the facade? Yeah, that was actually before we started handling those. They have called us.
I thought it was infrastructure.
It was a downtown infrastructure.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was a downtown deal, and that was when Downtown Odessa Inc. was still functioning out of the city. They have since made a phone call back about 3 months ago, and I'm trying to collect my memory. I always look over to Tina because she knows everything. But I think they like stalled their project, and then they asked for an extension, and I think they got a second extension. And then they waited till like 2 years to call us and go, hey, now we're ready to, kinda. I think, yeah, and I think I glanced at it, they may have passed that. And so, I probably need to reach out to the lady again and ask if she's asking for another. I remember now, she said, well, needed to know if we're ready to get going now. And I had to go backwards and check into it because we weren't handling it back through all the first couple of years of it. Well, then apparently they had gone past the date of their final extension. And I said, are you requesting another one? And she said, well, I'll have to get back with you because I'm getting ready to leave the country for 30 days. And so I haven't spoken with her since.
Well, I drive by there every time I come up here, and 3 months ago, they were active on it. They were looked like finishing stuff on it and working inside, but now there's nothing going on, so.
Yeah, maybe they all, I don't know, left the, it's kind of a start, stop
Yeah.
program apparently. And I don't have knowledge as to why that is. So, any other questions?
Where are we at with I know we had made a request with Nacero on returning the $2 million. Have we heard anything back on that?
We have not. I did place a call last week to one of their representatives. I have not heard back. But I do need to call again and probably need to put in a couple more calls so I can assure you that we've reached out plenty of times. Our attorney, back when y'all requested such, did send a letter, and in the letter it terminated the agreement and requested a payback. And then I made that letter via email available. I think I sent it out to all the board. We did receive the certified mail version back, not signed for. We did not receive the regular mail version back. And, you know, to be honest with you, that I'm not terribly surprised. So, and I'm not saying anything negative against them. I think anybody in that situation would have done that.
It's not uncommon
Yeah.
to ignore a certified letter from a law office. That's people like to think that means they didn't get notice, but it doesn't really work that way.
I mean, I don't acknowledge all the certified mail. Oh, excuse me. No, I'm kidding.
Yep.
Any other questions?
Tom, do you have a date? Kaylee, did you get the date from
No,
Tom?
I hadn't reached out to Jeff more, but he has a copy of the letter.
You would have to have a copy of the letter, would you?
That he sent? Yeah.
You could send it to Kaylee.
Okay. And I apologize. I thought I provided it to y'all. Yeah, we'll get it.
She's needing it.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
I know Christy's out of town, Christy Calicote's out of town with advertising, and I think Brittany was out of town. She's emailed information to us about it and the process they're going. And Chris Walker's not here, Black Chamber's not here, and then I don't see Tyler here either. And James Beecham not here.
Out of here.
Right, it brings us down to Miss Bonda, Miss Kaylee.
It's a lonely day today, no one's here. It was that way in the office too, very quiet today. So I apologize for not being here last month. We had an unexpected family funeral, so just take care of that.
Mm-hmm.
So you have in front of you June and also July,
Thank you.
so we're still on track and up to date with financials.
Thank you.
So if you'll take a look at your June statement with me first. In the local government pools, you have a total amount net of the expenses that we talked about last time that need to be transferred from the ODC tax pool to the city's operating tax pool. Net of that transfer amount, it's $71,867,129. CDs, $4,418,994. I won't go through each one, but total assets you'll see there down at the bottom, $89,187,150. Down here in the fund balance and the reserved short-term and long-term, I'll preface this with I did not have a copy of the letter, so I don't want to remove it from the financial until I know what the date is on that termination agreement. So once I get that from Tom, I'll update it. Also, I'll say that there are a handful of agreements that I feel like are in transit mode right now, so I need to get with legal and see which ones have been signed and processed and pushed all the way through. I think a couple of them might be on my desk. Tina has reminded me. But those are Walkman, ICA, Orex, and then the UTPB Workforce Analytics. So those total to about 13.8 million. So if you look at that and replace those with a Nacero, you still have a pretty good idea of what your total reserved fund reserves are there. So we can flip to the second page, and of course, just stop me if you have questions. We did not have any payouts on the active agreements in the month of June. So all of those balances were the same from the May statement that you previously looked at. Next page on the revenues and expenses. Actual revenues collected in the month of June, of course, primarily sales tax, but the total of those was $1,593,843 for a year-to-date revenue collection of $13,958,052. You'll see when we move on to the next one that we're very, very close to hitting the budgeted sales tax amount. A little bit further away in this one, but with the July additions, we're very, very close. So light month in terms of expenditures, they're down in the marketing, there's $125,000. We chatted about that a couple meetings ago, how there were some issues with the check run, so there were like some repetitive entries in the system that were canceling each other out. So that overflowed from this month to next month, so you'll see a little bit of if you were to do the math, a little bit of a difference, a lesser total amount spent there. So total expenditures for the month, $142,122. Like I said, very light month in expenditures. And year to date, $2,021,461. So on a yearly basis, your net is $11,936,591. Any questions on the revenues or the balance sheet? Okay. Next page is the investment summary. I know the next page has a little bit more detail, but I still like to provide this because it does break down by investment type, the changes in the portfolio. So just to reference, if you would like to see that, the breakdown is there. On the next page, the investment comparison, you'll see that we started the month of June, specifically in our local government pools. We started at $72,583,893. We ended the month with $74,103,602. And again, the difference between that $74 million and what is showing on the balance sheet is the amount that is to be transferred. It's the net difference. In the money market, we started the month with $9,827,138, ended the month of June $9,870,725. For the CDs, we started the month with $4,402,476 and ended with $4,418,994. The muni securities, you'll notice that the first one listed there, the Connecticut, did come to maturity on the 1st of July, so it's still showing here as of June 30. So the totals for those municipal securities, start of month, $2.9 million, and end of month, just about the same. but rounded up to 3 million. So, any questions on either of those? Yes.
On CDs, on
Mhm.
West Texas National Bank,
Yes.
that's coming up
Correct.
shortly.
Mhm.
I know the Fed's meeting, right now rates are up higher than this. I don't know if you looked into getting that moved or getting them bumped up.
So
a
yeah,
little
I
bit.
did call and got quotes on what their CDs are at today. They're doing a 12-month CD for 4.01%, so a little bit higher. We can do a 6-month to 364 days for 4.31%, so also a little higher. And then I think 4.47 for a 3 to 6 month CD. So that's the rates right now. They won't let me change anything because I have to go to the bank and put myself on the signature card.
Yeah,
So
the Fed meets next week and this election, everything, it might, they're probably gonna
yes,
discount, so that would affect this, but then again, the election, everything else, you don't know where anything's going. So I didn't know if you had some groundwork done on it or not.
yeah. I mean, I'll take your feedback on it, but in my opinion, the 12-month at 4.01 or the 364-day semantics, right? The 364-day CD at 4.31%, I think, is a good place to be. We don't know how many rate cuts will come, but probably a handful in the next year. So if we could lock that, it's 2.2 million, I think, is the balance currently. If we could lock that amount in at that rate, I think you'd be in a good spot.
And the 6 months was what rate?
4.47, I believe. I had it right here.
That might be a good one just to wait and see on it.
Well, it looks like we get more right now off the local government investment pools than we do off the CD side of that.
Oh,
too,
you do?
so, yeah, you're 506 and 519.
But once the rates start getting cut, those local government
Those will go
pools will
back
come
down.
down. Yeah, it's about a 30 to 45 day lag when the government pools will start being affected. But if we're forecasting a handful of rate cuts in the next year, then those will be coming down. So now is also a time to get some money into muni securities. We had kind of been riding the investment pool wave because they were paying so well. But now you're down to just one investment, and that's the New York NYF2, right there listed under the Connecticut,
Oh, that's
and it's about to come to maturity as well.
it already did.
Oh, you're right, 8-1. I forget it. We're not in June, even though we're talking about it. So yes, a good time to look into some securities to lock some money in before rates start getting impacted.
Can you get us some info on that for next month?
Yes, I can. So we'll move on to the July statement. You will see a drop in the local government pool line item from the month before because the transfer was finally hit on the tax pool statement this month, the transfer from the ODC tax pool to the city tax pool to replenish the funds expended out of the city tax pool. We did that in June, but for some, like June 30th is when it hit in the system, but on the tax pool it hit in July, like July 1st. So that's why we're seeing it here in the July statement rather than the June. So total assets here, $88,327,743. Same disclaimer for the fund balance reserves here. You'll still see Nacero on there, and I need to confirm where those other agreements are in the stages before I will add them on here. Onto the second page, the changes in reserve fund balance. We did pay the third and final installment to UTPB for the, I think they just call it UTPB project training, third project training, or I can't remember the exact name. But we did pay that amount out in the month of July. So that one is retired and done for. Onto the revenues and expenditures. In the month of July, a total revenue collection is showing at $1,575,834. you'll see we're only, if you look at the sales tax receipts line, about $80,000 away from hitting the targeted amount. So as is in line with historical information and financials, you'll surpass what you budgeted on your sales tax amount, which is good. Year-to-date revenues, $15,533,887. Down on the expenditures, this did have quite a bit of expenditures in this month, mostly because we paid the final quarterly installment for the contractors. So you'll see there down below in the second half of the expenditures, Chamber of Commerce, Motran, Small Business Development Center, Current Media Partners, and the Black Chamber of Commerce. They all had their fourth installment paid out this year. So they've been made whole with the agreed upon amounts for this current fiscal year. And then, of course, down in business incentives is that $700,000 that we paid out for UTBB. So quite a heavy month in terms of expenditures. Total for the month, $1,146,228, but still a net positive for the month of $429,606. Year to date, we are at a net positive of $12,351,586. Any questions on those first two pages? Okay. Next page is the investment summary. Again, just if you would like to see the breakdown of the additions in the portfolios, they're there. We can move on to the last page, which is the investment comparison. I'll just hit the end of month since we just talked about June in the last financial. So here, end of month for the Texpool and Logic amounts, we're at $73,616,526. So as we talked about, those are paying pretty healthy right now, well over 5%. They will start to come down, so we'll take a look at the next meeting at how much you would like to allocate to some investments. And also take into consideration, of course, any payouts that are to be had in the next year. In the Frost money market, you'll see a big jump here. Last month we started the month at $9,870,725, and we ended the month of July with $11,933,049. And that is largely because of the Connecticut investment that came to maturity. As you all know, once those come to maturity, they just go back into the money market at Frost. And the money market at Frost, as of today, is paying 5.18%. So still pretty good. Down in the CDs, we ended the month with $4,435,575. And like I said, I did make that phone call on the West Texas National. It's maturing in a couple days. So I guess I'd just like some direction from you all if you would like me to go with the 1 year at 4.01 or if you'd like me to do 364 days at 4.31.
Y'all have some input on that?
364.
Okay.
I think the 364.
I figured as much. I just wanted to make sure.
Everybody good with that?
Okay. And that First Bank and Trust won't mature until December, so hopefully we have not had too many rate cuts by then, but who knows? Only time will tell. Down in end of month under the municipal securities, you'll see that Connecticut removed, so the only one left as of this date, not today's date, is the New York investment at $1 million. So you are now investment free, which is not the worst thing in this rate environment, but we'll make sure it doesn't stay like that for long.
And you were saying that will automatically roll to Frost. Is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So in the August statement, you'll see a $1 million deposit into the Frost statement, money market.
Okay.
Any questions on those? Okay.
Great job.
All right. Thank you.
wanted to mention somewhere in here, any member of the public may address the ODC board regarding any of its agenda items before, during, or during the consideration of the item. And okay, move to officer report. Oh, committee and officer reports. Partnership. I have not. I don't know who. It's just me. I'm not. I don't have anything to add to that. Anybody on y'all? We're talking about tax. We're going to talk about tax incentive.
Yeah, Michael Forrest is the chairman of that committee, and I'm the vice chairman, and we met with the city legal staff and the Economic Development Department of the Chamber. And the conclusion, we went through a process of, which I thought was very productive, whereby we trying to determine is this committee is still viable? And because the committee is required whenever the city makes agrees to a tax abatement associated with an enterprise zone, then it's required by law. Well, there's nothing in place at this point. There's not anything forecasted with regard to tax abatements associated with an enterprise zone. We concluded that it wasn't necessary. The one thing residual would be that those guidelines need to be reviewed every couple of years, and we determined that it might be viable for the ODC Compliance Committee to do that work. And so, which would require a change in our bylaws. So, we'd like to come back, I guess, with a formal action item and a change of the bylaws. The city council is gonna have to ultimately determine, do they want this committee in place or not? But if they determine they don't want that committee in place, then we'd bring back something that shows here's a bylaws change, and it's not gonna be anything that's gonna be onerous on the compliance committee, and it's a really good fit because of the skill of the people that are on that committee. So that's where that's probably where we're gonna end up. And the legal department is gonna take the recommendation to dissolve that committee to the council. And so once we hear that, we'll look at changing our bylaws, bring that to the ODC board for approval.
And Tina, what day is it scheduled that Christina Burns is gonna do it, on the 24th?
Her work session on the 24th.
Yeah, so she'll do it then, and then I guess we'll go back 2 weeks later
We'll connect to ODC
in October.
with a bylaw change if the council is,
Gives a consensus to go
yeah,
forward.
gives a consensus.
Okay, yeah. that's
So what we just need now is if the ODC is willing to
Any-
perhaps take that.
Any other discussion on that?
Just a simple consensus. if
Yes.
that's what y'all wants to do.
It's my favorite committee that I serve on.
Is it really?
Is it because you don't have to go to it?
I can't believe you're taking it away.
I think we're pretty much. I think we're a consensus.
I think that's not a bad idea.
Compliance take care of it.
And we'll get Christina to put on.
Okay, thank you. And advertising, we have just talked by email, and everything's on track. There's nothing new on that. DOI grants and design review board. Anything on that?
No activity.
I didn't think there was, but
It's been
and then compliance. Anything new on compliance?
compliance, no activity.
Okay.
We don't have anything we're looking at now except what I'm working with you.
Gotcha.
Excellent.
Okay. Item 6. Board may reset. I'm on there. I read it.
He already read the few
I
minutes
read it
ago.
out of order. I think. Sorry.
Get penalized for
I
that.
don't want to get penalized. Board may recess into executive session in compliance with section 551.001 Texas Government accordance with section 551.071, 072, and 087. So do I have a motion to move into executive session?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second made by David Batan, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Fine.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. we're gonna move into executive session. I don't know if I need to hit that.
We need Dan Jones.
We need to.
Dan.
Yeah, we need Dan.
And can we invite Roger King into this as well?
Yeah, just decide who you want to come in and out.
Jeff, no, Jeff wants it, in closed session.
We can't do it over the phone.
Do what?
We can't do it over the phone. But if he's in person, it's different.
I'm going by my conversation with Jeff.
Okay.
Just moved to an entirely different state.
Mine would come stop me, they would find me, trust me, they would, my oldest would find me. Yeah.
Still haven't been to
The only good part is my grandbaby's back.
Oh my gosh, he's cute.
Yes, grandbabies are everything. He looks like you. That's the only good thing about having kids. The grandbabies, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's worth it.
Oh, platinum one here. What color's your daughter's hair?
No, they take over right away. My grandbaby took over the whole house.
Only God knows the plans he has for us.
Yeah, that's true, that is true. Can't make him.
My sister's 10 years younger than me. My sister's 13 years younger than me.
My siblings are like 8 years, 10 years older than me, so they say I was the oopsie, but really, my mom says they were, so. They were the oopsie. I was the fun one, yeah, she wanted a girl, another girl.
You said your sister's 13 years younger? She's 13 years younger. I have one that's 2.5 years older, and then
So he is a Texan. I'm a transplant, but he is a transplant. Well, thank you. Yeah, I don't know what, I did her said something, and she's like, girl, you're Texan. And I'm like, okay. Sorry, what?
Make sure you have a copy of this. I've only ever driven through Roswell once.
Was it executive session? Cause I thought I heard him say, did y'all go into executive session?
and then Sandy looks and she's like,
But
that's
also
the
the
thing.
cycle.
So I do,
How do you like
but
the
yeah.
I like how long
It's trying, but I had been trying.
very high energy.
He was born in
Did you
April,
just get used
so
to the
from April, he was maybe 6
Yeah,
months.
maybe
I think that's, but I think I just like him once and I was like, never
Me
again.
too.
That was me.
Korea, and I said, Josh, and I was thinking it's like that I squatted him up, didn't say much, like I was crazy.
That's how my grandson had a pink eye, and I did not want that. So I was putting him to sleep, I'm like, he's not laying in my bed. I laid him in his bed and I sat there and patted him till he fell asleep. I'm like, nope, you ain't giving me pink eye.
Also like a heated air, or it's just regular?
No, that's Hotworks.
Hotworks.
Has spikes in the sun.
Okay.
I don't like Hotworks though, because you're just looking at a video.
Oh, they don't have actual instructors.
It's not actual instructors.
Oh.
The cycle bar is so
What
fun.
are we talking about?
They'll do themed workouts like.
And they don't have air in there, do they?
Cycle bars?
Yep.
Yeah, they have air and fans.
Is that where you go? I know Hotworks.
Yeah, no, that one I'm not down. I'll pass out.
I would pass out. Is it stinking there?
It's just me and my sister, we like it.
They had a 90s nostalgia bike ride, and they did a country music.
What time do you go to Cycle Bar?
On Saturdays, I usually go to the 9 a.m. class. They have like an 8 to 8:30, and then they have a 9 to 9:45.
That's why I need to find like a fun cardio.
Yes.
because I can't do the, what's it called, walk, where you just walk kind of? Treadmill, yeah, it's too boring for me. I'm like, I've been on there 30 minutes, I look at the time, it's been 2 minutes. I'm like, oh, okay.
I like the elliptical, but I don't get the time. I try not to do the time. And I jam out, so.
that one's better for your knees. The less impact. Yeah. Cause I was doing the stupid Stairmaster thing, but that's horrible for your knees. I stopped. But now I do that at lunchtime.
You do exercise?
I'm running back and forth.
How do you freshen up? How do you freshen up when you go back?
I take a little quick shower in there.
Oh,
They
no.
have
A
one
super
shower.
fast one.
And you don't wear makeup? I'm like, my makeup will be all.
No, I put a bandana and it helps a lot. A
Okay.
bandana really helps. So it doesn't run or
I
anything.
don't like my face.
And then I just pat my face
Yeah, I don't.
after and then I just take a quick shower.
What I have to do is like, I have to wipe, like with a wipey, like where I sweat on my chest and my back. And then I have a spray that's like antibacterial, because my skin's real sensitive, so if I don't shower like immediately after I work out, I'll break out, so that's what I have to do.
I just hop in real quick.
And
Super fast.
that get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and work out.
Yeah, I tried that. It just
I
felt
wake up
wrong.
at 3:45.
It was too dark. I was like, this just feels wrong.
8:30.
Oh.
I try to go lay down at 8:30 and get sleep by 9 for sure.
That's good.
That's
Yeah.
good.
I could do that if I've been getting up like at 4:15, but going to bed like at 11, so it was, or 10:30.
I need at least 7 hours of sleep to function the next day.
I'm going to sleep when I put the baby to sleep. The lullaby thing is really good to sleep.
I'd like to have just 4 hours of sleep
Oh my
all at one
God.
time. I went to 3 times a night. I don't know why.
Yeah, this thing
It was
has
so
been
annoying.
Yeah.
But I could go to my sister's who lives out in the country, out past Sweetwater, and I sleep so good. What is that about? I might wake up once.
The air, something in the air.
Maybe.
It's because it's your apartment.
Do what?
It's your apartment building.
Yeah, that might be it. Apartments are kind of hard to live.
Have you tried melatonin? I'm just saying, 'cause I know I take that
I
sometimes.
always wake up tired when I take stuff.
I know, me too. That's why I don't take it either.
Have you tried magnesium?
I take magnesium every day. Yeah.
I wake up
My
extra
sister
early.
was when I came, I can't resist
Yeah.
smoking.
I take it's a 3, it's got zinc, magnesium, and calcium.
All
I
lazy
get it
and
on
everything.
Amazon, and I started taking
Like coffee,
magnesium
yeah.
because
Yeah.
the girls
Better.
teacher, the gym classes recommended it.
I do that.
But then I read that
Or
the
just sit there
magnesium,
for a minute.
calcium, and zinc combination, and you take it at bedtime, so it helps with the muscles and it helps sleep.
Oh.
I heard stretching helps too, but I haven't tried it. Might
caffeine, sugar, there's,
The lattes. How cute.
yeah, it's called the pocket latte, and then I get them on Amazon, I get everything on Amazon,
Yeah.
but yeah, so it is a cup of coffee's worth of caffeine in a little chocolate.
I intake a lot of caffeine. I'll do pre-workout for the gym. I'll do like a mid-morning pick-me-up, afternoon pick-me-up.
3
I
o'clock,
do.
you have that sinking spell.
I just do the coffee and then I do water and coffee.
I drink coffee, I don't drink it all day long. There's sometimes about 3 o'clock I might have it, not every day.
It's weird because I'm used to drinking the coffee and then once I'm done with that, I can't drink any more coffee, like my stomach will hurt.
Yeah.
And I
Me
drink a
too,
lot
you
of
like much?
tea. I drink a lot of tea too, which has caffeine.
She has caffeine. No.
Usually one's a lemon water.
Yeah, I try to just drink
Well,
water.
even like, I think after lunchtime, for some people, like, if you have caffeine after lunch, it'll impact your sleep.
Yeah, it's too much.
Yeah, I can't have it past like 4, or else I won't be able to go to sleep at night.
I had a whole lunny yesterday. I cracked it open at 5 because I knew it was gonna be working late. I was up at midnight, wide awake. Well, yeah, I'm a wide awake. So
The
this
worst is
morning,
waking up thinking about what you gotta do the next day and you can't put that
Yes,
off, right?
you can't turn it back off.
sometimes I even wake up in the middle of the night like, I forgot to do that today. Oh,
So
no, I need to
you
do that.
text yourself or call and leave yourself a message.
No, I
At
just,
work?
I don't know. Sometimes I'll email myself.
I'll put a sticky, like whatever I need to do.
Well, that email I sent you this morning that we need to talk, that was something I was thinking about at 2 o'clock this morning.
Yeah.
So just be thankful I didn't text you or email you at 2 o'clock in the
Yeah,
morning.
she told me that and I was like,
I was like, okay, I'm worried
it's
about this.
gonna
I have
be
to
just
talk to you.
fine.
And I have to talk to you before 9 o'clock tomorrow morning because we're having a meeting at 9 o'clock
Oh,
tomorrow morning.
jeez. Well, we're running out of time, Dina. It's 3 o'clock.
Are you like full the rest of the?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Today I was just trying to get the July report done. I've been so swamped. Oh my God.
I even feel bad writing you. I felt really bad. I'm like, are you kidding me?
No, don't feel bad. That's
Because I know how
always
busy
ping
you
me.
are.
Always ping me. So that I'll like.
And then at some point I thought, maybe I can catch you in your office. Maybe if I just bring the agreements down and I can get your initial and run back upstairs again. But I never know when is a good time to call you or email you.
Anytime.
And especially with budget and I see all the stuff you're going through, I'm like, I'm not bothering her.
I know. Did you see council? Did Norma tell you about council on Tuesdays?
But you did really well.
You did.
You didn't get upset or anything. You couldn't
Oh,
tell
that's
that you
what
got
happened.
upset and I thought you did really well.
Whatever I'm seeing is that you just, you step aside and you're like, okay, back to me, and like none of it seemed to affect
And then you didn't lose your cool or
You
anything.
know, if you
It
weren't
was
even
great.
listening, I don't know.
Well, I know that none of it was directed at me, so
Yeah.
I wasn't taking it personally. It's just like, okay, well, you're kind of talking.
Yeah, if you're done, I'm gonna continue now.
Yeah, and then they were asking questions and then council wasn't saying anything, and I was like, do I need to answer? Like, I
It didn't
couldn't
feel like
answer.
there was that much of a pause though.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I felt like
No, I watched some of it on the YouTube, and I think you did great too. I was like, I've been crying in the corner.
I know, I felt nervous. I felt nervous for her. I was like, oh, come on, say something.
Was that at city council?
Yes, on Tuesday.
Yeah.
It was the budget adoption.
I was stressed out.
And
the
then
water tax.
water, sewer, and, you should pop yourself a big bucket of popcorn and
Yeah.
watch it on YouTube.
Well, I watch it most of the time, I didn't watch it this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah.
cool.
that's what
what
they
they were
want.
saying.
I mean, there's no law against it. It's good practice, but the law really doesn't, there's no law that says it's all, you know, hush hush, nobody can talk about it. You really can talk about it. It's just good practice to know. But if the board wants it as part of the minutes, you know, I guess that's.
I don't know how Norma is not listening to her recorder. She says she never listens back to that. I have to,
Years of
remember
practice,
this.
probably. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Or maybe she makes
Probably.
notes as she's
Yeah.
going.
Well, I'm making notes, but I have to.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because I'm further confused, I just kind of.
So the October
Right.
meeting is
Welcome to the club.
Thank you.
So it's my turn to sit out there again and watch.
Are you still gonna cover the meeting?
Yeah,
I
I'll
told
send
Norma
you a
she
report.
needs to do the first one. I'll sit next to her and
Oh, yeah.
shadow her, and then we can go from there. But I'm sure it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Well, it just made sense for everything else to be back over here, because I feel like that was a messenger thing, but it was.
It was. And it was just so disjointed and nothing flowed. I mean, and
No.
nothing
No.
worked in, as it should have, because it kept getting, it's not that it was hung up, but like neither person knew what the other
Too
person
many
was doing.
puzzles, yeah.
Exactly.
Well, even
Different
with the
pieces.
agenda, whatever Tom was sending you, he was CCing me on it, and then you were sending back whatever, and it was like, okay, so which one
Which one
is
is-
in the packet?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was just.
I am not looking forward to doing the agenda, but I am looking forward to it all being,
Seamless.
yes, seamless. But it's been almost 2 years since I've done it, so even I'm gonna be like, what am I doing?
2 whole years, really?
No.
Yeah, no, they took
I just
it.
started, my first meeting in here was, December 10th.
But they took away y'all first and then.
Yes. Yeah, no, my last agenda that I did was November of 22.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, it has been almost 2
Okay, so
years.
then Norma was doing it?
No,
Okay.
then Tom was doing it.
Nothing
It went
was-
straight from me to Tom. The agenda, not the minutes, but the agenda went straight from me to Tom.
But was he doing it active?
Yes. Yes.
Because I'm telling you, my first meeting in Newton-Leas was December, it's ingrained in my head.
You know, they didn't do
December
it,
10th.
yeah, they didn't do it at the same
Norma was
time.
supposed to do the
They,
minutes.
y'all did the
That's why I
agenda
thought
for a year before they had, you
Okay.
start taking minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was in 2 parts. The first thing they did, and it was right after
See?
the election,
Oh,
and then people got put on, and all of a sudden, and they didn't even tell me I wasn't doing it anymore. I found out I got an email from Tom Mansky that said, okay, we'll be doing the agenda, and I'm like, you will? Really? Oh, okay. You know, but he didn't know that it was happening, so yeah, it's been almost 2 years since I've done an ODC agenda.
He was doing the agenda, and I was doing it.
Yeah. And it's, it was definitely not seamless, it was not.
There was no rhythm to it at all.
And all the stuff with the contracts that happened and stuff happened because everybody had a piece of the puzzle and
Yes.
nobody was all on the same page.
Yeah.
Including myself. It was just.
And me too, because I found out just 2 months ago that what I was told by the president, the whole rest of the board didn't know that. Yeah, I was told this is what you're doing, and I just found out a month or 2 ago that, and I'm just like, oh, the president told me this, so this is a board decision. Well, it wasn't a board decision. It was, but you know, I do what I'm told, and we all pretty much do what we're told, but I had no idea that everybody else didn't know what I wasn't doing.
See, it's just been frustrating.
It's been weird,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're coming in on the other.
Yes, for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, yeah.
And it was really good, because I've been doing ODC, I've been in this with the city 9 years, so up until they took it away, I did ODC that whole time. And I always did the agendas, I did all the rest, I did everything, and it was, for the most part, pretty seamless. Of course, there's always going to be hiccups, but, so we're trying to get back to where it was before that. But I am gonna say back before all that, we did require that the financial packets,
We're in there.
financial reports were in there. So I might be knocking on your door,
Please do.
Thursday saying, Caitlin, I need those reports.
And she will.
I will.
No, it hasn't.
They appreciate that.
Yes, I really do. Every time
I will too. So I can post it on time on Friday and.
I always tell myself, like, make sure you do your financial a week before the meeting. Never happens that way, and that week of the meeting, I'm always running around like a crazy person trying to finish the reports.
And you can ask Lindsay, I mean, I would be on.
Yes.
Hey, we have a folder, and we have to do this, we have to do that.
You never know.
And then I look to see the emails, I look to see the emails from you,
Stressing you out? Yeah.
And see, the flip side of that, and this is something that I also learned 2 weeks ago, was that the whole entire packet was supposed to come to us to review before posting.
But who did not know that?
Yeah, you didn't know it, I didn't know it, and nobody knew it.
Because I can send that to you first.
Yep.
And not have all the amendments.
Exactly. Oh, and send this too. Oh, and here's another part. I know, I don't know how many emails you got sent.
No, and then Tom would call me, oh,
Yeah.
Kathy's gone, can you please add, you know, and I was like, I hate messing with documents that are not mine,
Yeah.
but okay.
That'd be better now.
So, yeah.
Thanks.
Yes. You'll be great.
And you know, back in the day, I also posted it online. I didn't post like the thing on the board, but I was actually posting it online and sending it out to everybody. But we drew the line at that one. I know Norma's office can do that part.
Yeah.
The meetings usually, for like one reason or another, TAs, because they're in executive session, they usually run until like 3:30, sometimes even 4.
Yeah.
2:30 is what happened.
I hated when they decided it was too many people.
That was the worst.
That's what Tina said, she's like, what?
That was the worst.
8:30 a.m. is when they want.
And the problem is that's usually when I'm getting to work is 8:30,
Mhm.
you know, so I'm just walking
She's
in with
the
all
late
my
shift.
stuff and I'm on the late shift. Rebecca and Jen are early shift, I'm late shift. So I'm strolling in at 8:15, 8:20, 8:30. If I'm not there by 8:30, they're working.
Yeah.
But they don't even say, where's Tina until 8:30, you know?
Is
Tina
supposed to be off?
But yeah, so I'm like, you mean I have to get to my office before 8:30 to get to the meeting by 8:30? This isn't working for me.
Well, first they said 8 a.m.,
I
remember?
know.
Oh my
I know.
gosh.
I'm gonna have to come the night before and say
Yeah, when Tina gets there at 8, I'm like, is everything okay?
Are we supposed to be doing something? Is there a meeting? Should I make
I'm like,
coffee? Yeah, Tina does not do 8 o'clock.
I don't do it often. I do it
You
so.
know, I like to get to the office, like,
And relax before 8.
I mean, I'm doing stuff, but,
Yeah.
you know, yeah.
If I'm not here by 7:45, I feel off. Really? Yeah. And I take my grandbaby to daycare too. I take him to the daycare. That's how I feel. My daughter. If I leave at 5 o'clock, I feel weird. I'm like,
Yeah, for sure.
That's how Tina is. Yeah. So yeah, I'm on the list.
Yeah, see? There's perks.
And I gotta be gone by
You know how
5.
much you
Go
can
pick
get
up my
done
grandbaby and
between
go home.
5 and 5:30, because that's when the phone stops ringing and people stop walking in your office.
We stop singing.
You
They
get
stop
work
singing,
done.
I know.
And Jen has to sing back and forth all day, which annoys everybody, but we don't care.
And then, you know,
I
I
always
can
suck
hear
at
them
singing.
start packing up their stuff about 5 minutes till, and I'm like, oh, thank God. It's a peace and quiet.
I know Michelle and Rosie will have at it all day long, bickering, and laughing, and whenever one of them's not there, like say Rosie's not there.
Quiet.
Yeah. Well, then if I'm not saying anything, they're like, is everything okay, Rebecca? And I'm like, you can't have both. What do you want? I bet y'all's office is quiet.
Oh, it's super quiet. Norma will have music on or I'll have music on, but other than that, it's pretty quiet.
So that's where I need to start going, to make peace and quiet. Right now, I just go down the hall and sit in the ladies' room. They got that little, it's not a couch, it's a bench. But yeah, I'm gonna start just walking in your office and sitting down in the chair. Don't mind me.
Stop me,
We should
anything.
take my piece.
We should fix that space. We should goes to ours, I'm like,
Everybody
oh my
comes to ours.
gosh, sometimes it's too much.
You have all the public come in.
Yeah.
I only use y'all's if I'm on your floor.
Yeah.
Oh no, everybody goes there.
Really?
All the floors go there.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll stay to the
Go on the
basement.
third floor.
I guess cause they can't see them. I don't know.
Well,
It's
it's
always really bad.
Yeah, many years ago, it's because ours is the only floor where when you get off the elevator, no one can see you. If you think about it, you get off the floor on yours, it's Michelle, you get off up there, it's
Yeah.
the engineering, you get off, yeah. But so ours is the only floor, you get off and it's just a conference room. So no one watches you get off the elevator, no one watches you get down the hall.
Jimmy and Donna.
Yes.
Jimmy and Donna will see me coming through.
Yes, and that's just what I was told many years ago.
That's
They
It
use
is
the
true.
third floor,
It is true.
cause no one sees you.
I see random people and I'm like, where did they work?
I wonder what they're sneaking in there.
Give her a
We
one.
have a
Back to the
attorney's office next door, and then there's a hallway, you can come around through a door up the hallway, and you'll see them sneaking up the hallway. Okay.
And they have a bathroom by their
And then they go in there, and they're in their for it. But,
You know, I don't know.
I think they take a break in there, or something.
They take a Tina break?
I just lay down on that bench, take a little nap, set my alarm for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll just stand there and look out the window.
Yeah,
The window
yeah,
is
we have,
full.
yeah, that window's nice.
Sometimes I just put my noise canceling AirPods in. Not often, but when my brain is busy.
I need some of this.
I might ask Sam.
AKA mine.
Yeah.
I don't use the noise canceling though, like regularly, cause it weirds me out that I'm just in a black hole of
Yes.
nothingness. It's only when I like need the nothingness that I turn on.
And I always have to have some kind of music. Yeah. Always. As soon as I get up.
I do well in the quiet. Even when I'm getting ready to have a podcast, I'll put it in right.
My daughter watches those, or hears those, murder things, and I'm like, girl.
True crime.
Yeah.
Are they in executive session?
Yes,
They
ma'am.
are.
Oh, that's
How are you?
wasn't safe in here with some of the discussion
It's
topics.
all
And
right.
then now you're talking about a cattle prod. So I need to go back outside. You know, I'm sorry. I should have asked you if I could come back in.
We're nice, we promise.
Is somebody talking to their cat?
Mind your business.
Okay, okay.
People sneaking in the office that shouldn't be.
I think Tom's a bit ADD because you have to pull him back here. Yeah. Did you do that? Oh, yeah, yeah.
We have one of those too.
We have one of those, but we just like say, let's go to your office and we're gonna answer these emails. Come on.
Right, yeah.
We have
one of those at-
Yeah, and then he's like, oh, okay. I thought we already did that. No, come on, let's pull it up. And here we are, right behind him.
Yeah. Well, I could see sometimes Tom gets annoyed with me. It's like, come on, dude.
Yeah. He gets annoyed with us.
I'm not
He
a
does.
procrastinator. I like to get us.
Yeah.
Then, we're gonna, yeah.
That's how we are. And we hate it when people take like forever to respond because we want to check that box off.
Mhm.
That's right, because you're the one that wakes up at 2 o'clock in the morning thinking,
I really need to talk to Katie. I wish she would.
It's like, she's not talking about me, I know it. I know it.
And what's the first thing, when I came in this morning, the first thing I said to Rebecca is, I really need to talk to Katie.
I'm like, go talk to her.
Go talk to her.
It'll be okay.
And
I
I
think it's really
I
good
got to
idea.
her office, it was like 8:18 and I said, she's not there yet.
No. I think that's around when I was walking in, actually.
Yeah. And so I said, call me, call me.
Yeah. But did Michelle want to pick up?
No, nobody picked up. Yeah, it was weird.
That was weird.
I'm just gonna follow you down to your office when we meet here.
Definitely. Pull a Dan on me. Follow me.
So many interruptions.
That's why I like working after hours. Saturdays are like, man, I'm so productive on
Yes.
Saturday here, like, no people.
And I've been thinking, cause I go to the gym Saturday at 9, and I've been thinking, you know what, I'm downtown, I should just, drive into the office, just do whatever I can get done, put in an hour or two or whatever. I haven't done that yet. But, I was traveling for 2 weekends in a row, but this weekend I'm home and I'm thinking I'm gonna do
Sounds
something.
like a
Don't thank yourself for it.
Ball out.
Yeah.
Well, you're the only one I love that's from.
And I can always schedule this.
As long as we have time. Jean's not here yet. Okay, do I have a motion to enter back into open session?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Tim Harry and second by David Tan. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Same. Okay, we're back in open session. No action taken on the closed session. Okay. Any more citizen comments on non-agenda items? Number 9, upcoming dates on ODC board meetings. I have a conflict on the next date, on the 10th. Does anyone else have that? I know, I think you do. I think Dan did.
So I'm supposed to be at TML on October 10th. And you're going to Niagara Falls.
Oh, yes. I'll be flying out that afternoon, so October did we have it the 10th? Is that where it was gonna be?
Mm-hmm.
The 24th?
Okay. Are we able to go, what looks better, the
Whatever y'all want to do.
3rd? We may be having a special session, we may not.
I could do the 3rd, I cannot do the 17th.
Can we do the 3rd? Is everybody good for the 3rd of October?
I should be good, as long as we can do afternoon, I can do that.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, let's plan the 3rd of October,
That's good. That's good to me.
as long as we have the room available.
Oh, yeah, we'll do it. I'm assuming I don't want to go back to that
No,
You're assuming correct.
We can get with Sonia after and make sure it's available.
Yeah.
okay.
2 p.m. October 3rd.
Didn't you say that we didn't take any action?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, did we? Okay.
Any other items? I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Motion made by Melanie Holman.
Second.
Second by Tim Harry. All in favor?
Aye.
We got through that?
I told you I hate motions to approve.